What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi back with my man Eric Tabor. We're going to do a Fanduel lineup build. We're going to talk over our favorite plays on Fanduel. Slate's already evolving. We said on DraftKings, I started off by saying we don't have a lot of injury. We've got two significant injuries since then that we didn't plan on, Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond. So we are going to adjust accordingly. And Sheets, different slate a little bit over here on Fanduel. What are your first thoughts that stands out?
So interestingly, when I went through my positions and whatever on FanDuel, I came to the conclusion that I could go a lot of different ways, which is not usually the case with me on FanDuel. And, you know, I tell people that the people that'll listen to me that the two main mistakes people make in any business is, number one, taking a really bad idea and to keep doing it, right? And the second equally disgusting thing you can do in business is take a real good idea and then just avoid it and do something different, right? So for me, I've been doing so well on like single entries and not playing too many lineups in FanDuel that today I've decided to do completely the opposite for no reason and probably end up playing a whole bunch of lineups. And just because I'm just looking through the way I'm ranking my players, and I just see like a lot of seven-way ties at these positions for me, which isn't usually the case for me. I usually kind of like set into a couple of guys, and I don't know where I'm going to end up. So I'm going to end up probably just doing a lot of different lineups with, you know, combining low-owned guys and chalkier guys and see how we roll.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll go position by position because I do think it's a little different over here than it is on DraftKings, but it's also like I don't see the ownership. It seems to be too slanted because a guy will be like $400 cheaper. Like a good example would be like Elfrid Payton will go from being unowned to being the chalk on, which is like he's only $600 cheaper. It shouldn't be that big of a difference, is I guess.
Right.
So we'll try and find those spots. All right. So getting into it, who are the guys who you feel like are the ones?
So fine. So at point guard, I mean, let's start with the highest owned. But for now, they're looking at Trae Young and Payton and the Orlando guy.
Trae Young's a great example. Expected to be almost unowned on DraftKings at 10-4, and over here at 9-9, he's going to be the chalk. It's just it's a little exaggerated.
So I know I do like Trae as one of my guys, and I do like Sexton, okay, as one of my guys. But then I have like a lot of others. Like, first of all, I think it's so funny. Like we had this this big debate on DraftKings about Trae versus Luka at the same price. And for me, Luka's a full like 500 points higher, and I think I'm going to like him more on FanDuel. Just because of the way the ownership is going to reflect. You know, I don't think the 500 is going to really make the difference between the 70 points and 55 points or whatever that these guys are going to get. So I actually do like Luka as a lower-owned alternative to Young here. And just he's not in this main lineup, as I was saying, that I'm just, you know, just a lot of guys. But probably my favorite guy is going to be Satoransky. I mean, obviously the ownership probably hasn't updated yet or whatever, but for me, he might end up being my favorite. So you got Young, Sexton, Doncic, Satoransky. Payton, I guess, is fine. And then I could go back to Morant again. I mean, Morant is still, you know, in the mix. I'm sure he's not the same 5,900 that he was or whatever he was a couple of days ago or whatever. That was 6,100, but still. He has a tremendous matchup. He projects, you know, just fine. Certainly not as good of a play as Trae or Luka or even Sexton. Sexton 5,500 is pretty ridiculous when you think about it, especially with Garland out. That's, I guess, why he's going to be highly owned. It's kind of tough. I mean, that's a really, really good price. Yeah. But then there's Moran. I'm not even getting down to getting down to Kobe White, who is going to obviously get not all the usage, but a good amount of the usage from LaVine being out. I don't know where he's going to come in ownership, but he, for me, is like, honestly, like the 10th guy. You know, I don't know if I'm going to get to him, especially if he gets some ownership. And Markelle Fultz is just another middle-of-the-road guy for me. I mean, for me, I'm kind of into this Satoransky as my top overall when you come with ownership and value and all this stuff. And then for me, my next one would either be Morant or Luka. Now, yeah, it would be great to put Morant with Trae. That certainly makes a lot of sense. So I could certainly get away with doing that. But those are the guys I'm kind of looking at.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you. My top three are all in the same. I have them all rated basically similar. They're different, obviously, prices. But I love Ja. I like Trae Young over here too. I also like Luka over here, and Colin Sexton. Those are the guys I probably will have the most exposure to. But I also, just beneath him, Peyton Satoransky make a lot of sense to me as well, as does Markelle Fultz. And the long shot play I've got is Kendrick Nunn at 4,900. I feel like it's a cheap enough price in the matchup that he could actually, shoot the ball like well against the Milwaukee team. They're gonna have to keep up points wise. I don't love it, but it's an interesting off the board play that I think he's actually kind of safe even. That's pretty much all the guys I'm going to though over here. If we hear like before lock that Arcidiacono is starting, I don't think I would let it sway me too much. But if no one was going to go with it, I might go that route. I don't know that I would with Shaq Harrison starting because he kind of has been anyway, but it's just something I was thinking about a little bit. But for right now, it's the guys we mentioned. I mean, it's Satoransky, Sexton, Young, and Luka, and Morant.
You think about DeJounte Murray at all?
I thought about him. I don't know that I'm going to go there. It just feels like there's other plays at the same price range that I like a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah, I only mentioned because he was like the last guy but I'm just looking at him as if Sexton gets too chalky, it's like a perfect price pivot off of him. That's the only reason I kind of mention off of that. Or Satoransky gets too popular also.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Let's move on.
So shooting guard, for me, the best play, aside from ownership, is CJ McCollum still. I think that he's still just, I won't say underpriced, whatever it is. And the projections reflect it and all this stuff, but he still looks like it's just a really, really good play. And he's actually, if you didn't have to take ownership into account, would be my favorite, actually by a decent amount. But you do have to take ownership into account. I presume that he's going to be, I'm just looking really quickly, probably not the high. Yeah, definitely the highest owned guy. So the next guys for me are, you could play Harden if you want. I think that's perfectly fine. DeRozan, he's going to be popular. But the guy I'm actually coming up with, again, is that someone who rates just along the same lines as all these guys, who's going to be much lower owned, is going to be Donovan Mitchell. And so what I would do with someone like him is him as someone I could pair with Sexton, or if I decide later on at power forward to go with Kevin Love or somebody like that, Mitchell would make a lot of sense to me. So he would be the next guy, probably a priority for me when you factor in ownership, kind of to put in. And then after that, it's I'm telling you, I could play a lot of guys. I could play Herter, Butler, Dylan Brooks, even. You know what I mean? I'll go down. I think those will be the end of them, though. I think 7 of them would be just about the limit. But I could see cases literally for all of these guys.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of ownership so far and interest in Dylan Brooks at this price, but fine, sure. I think that the four top guys are all the best plays. And not top in terms of price.
Who's the top 4?
My top 4 guys in terms of the guys who I've got rated as the best are McCollum, Harden, DeRozan, and Herter.
Right.
And then I'm mixing in a little Butler, a little Clarkson, a little Mitchell, but not really going outside of anywhere else too much. I really like those 4, and I feel good about building a core. I understand that it's a little bit chalky, but we already talked about like 9 different point guards, and about 5 of them are less than 10% owned, so we can get different elsewhere. I don't like the shooting guard spot as much as I usually do. The one other guy who I will have at least a tiny bit of exposure to is going to be Terrence Ross. Just at 4,900, he's been shooting a ton. Like, this guy scored 50 points in a real game one time, like real life points. I would be willing to take that shot, I think. But yeah, mostly it's just going to be the main guys. Oh, and I don't mind Gary Trent as a long shot play. But again, these are not exciting plays. I think you're best off just sticking with the first 4 we mentioned, or first 4 I mentioned, McCollum, Harden, DeRozan, Herter. And then, I forgot one. Jordan Clarkson, you got to get some exposure tonight.
Yeah, you had mentioned him, and you don't even realize you just mentioned him 30 seconds ago. And you don't even remember that you mentioned him.
That's how much I is. Like, even the alarm's not going off in my house now, that means it's a good play, right?
That's right. Well, that's right. Well, just because, first of all, okay, not even first, but third of all, he did play for Cleveland before, but you just kind of see when he gets on the court, he just shoots. You know what I mean? He
gives up the most points per game to the point guard position. Now, they're going to have a bunch of different guys playing that version of point guard, so I don't know who even counts. But the most fantasy points, and they do that playing slow, which is really odd. I really think it's a spot. Clarkson is a guy who that stuff does matter. Like, I mean, I always refer back to the game where I won last year, where we had Clarkson and D'Angelo Russell both at less than 2 and less than 1%. But they were going against each other, and they had the whole Laker thing. It was the first time they played each other in their new teams, and they both went nuts. And that narratives may not always work, but when they win and they can win you a tournament, that little extra bit from Clarkson, wanting to also prove he's better than these guys. Like, how did you give up on me for guys like Sex? Like, he has that in him. He thinks he's the guy who should be taking all the shots in the court. That's the kind of guy you want to play in these GPPs, and I just think he's got upside. So I like Clarkson.
Okay. So at small forward, and I'm going to bring my little spreadsheet in here. So like to give an example, I don't even have to usually create a spreadsheet because I usually have like 2 or 3 guys in each position, honestly, on FanDuel. And then I'll either play the single entry or I'll maybe deviate a little bit. So like at small forward, I mean, there are literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that I want to include in my main player pools. And this is what I put in. And I honestly have them all. I can make seriously a case that I like all of them equally. So for me, it's really going to come down to ownership in a way. But so I'll just read them. So Rudy Gay is probably my favorite, whatever it is. These are really all very similar. So as far as my rankings go, so Giannis looks to be a really good play. Now Kyle Anderson. Now I put Bojan LOL. The reason why, it's going to be such a tremendous troll when he scores 50 tonight, because all these other slates where he's been one of only 3 small forwards that you can play, and you knew that he was going to be terrible anyway, and you had to play him or Gallinari or Harris, you know what I mean, like one of those 3, and he never got there. This is going to be that game where you could play like 7 different guys, and you don't play him, and he scores 50. Nonetheless, he is one of the guys that I'm looking at. Then there's Cam Reddish, TJ Warren, somebody you mentioned earlier, DraftKings, maybe a little Chetty Osman, and or DeAndre Hunter. So again, this is just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take all these guys, find good correlations, like the Hunter one. I'll obviously good run backs in Memphis. Maybe I could play a real cheap Osman, Kyle Anderson thing in here or something. Or if I play J-Val, play DeAndre Hunter, maybe with a Trey. And with the San Antonio guys, maybe I'll play him with a Sabonis or something. So that's just what I'm going to do tonight. I'm not saying everybody else should, but for me, I like a lot of guys. So all these small forwards for me are just, you could just make a case for all of them, and I'll probably end up taking, the lower owned ones with the chalkier lineups.
So my issue is I sort of feel like you, where I have a big pool of small forwards, but I'm not like you in that I like any of them.
Okay.
I really don't feel good. I feel like I feel speculatively okay about a lot of them, but I don't feel good about any of them, which makes me just want to try to figure out a way to play Giannis.
Fair enough.
Especially at not very high ownership. So that's just my initial thought, is a Giannis, maybe Gay. I would consider doing something. I like Crowder as a pivot off of Gay. I think he's actually the better play. At 4.2, it'll probably be about half the ownership. I think that you've got a lock for more minutes, basically, and a game that's going to be it's going to be faster paced, higher scoring, and they're going to need more offense because they don't have guys like Hero. So there's going to be more shots to go around a little bit. This is a team you try and beat from the outside. If Jay Crowder is the ultimate streak shooter, I want to take that chance against Milwaukee. So I actually have Jay Crowder and Giannis as a little back and forth. They're actually the 2 highest owned that I've got right now. That's how little I like the position. Another guy we don't play, but I'm going to play at 5,100 when I don't like the position, is Bojan Bogdanovic, especially because we have so much exposure to that game, or at least I do, that I want to get a little bit of him at 5Ks. 5.1 is very reasonable. I still like Gay fine. I like Josh Jackson as a tournament play. I like Kevin Porter. I like Reddish a little bit. I like Anderson a little bit. I like Ingles and Osman a little bit, and Gordon a little bit, and Hunter a little bit. But I don't have any real deciding factors on those guys. What would change things would be if we got a starting lineup in Cleveland and Osman is starting. It would change for me if we get a good word that Eric Gordon is good to go. Maybe I would give him a little more upside. I think Kevin Porter is the guy who goes under-owned here and should probably be higher than he is because everyone's afraid of Utah. I think you're going to see Kevin Porter play the 1 and the 2 and the 3 tonight. So again, I don't have a lot of strong conviction at this position. I have a lot of guys who I'm willing to speculate on, but nobody I feel incredibly thrilled about. I do like that Crowder, though. I think the Crowder play is starting to speak to me more and more, especially when everyone's going to play Rudy Gay, and we all know how volatile the situation is. Not everyone, but he'll get owned over 20%. I'll bet you anything. And you have a guy in Crowder who at 4,200 has only been under 20 once in this new team, and that was he had 19 in that game. He had 26, 28, 30, 31, 34, 26, 39, 43. Like, there's upside for this guy at 4.2. Let's play a little Crowder.
Yeah, I actually I missed that. I was actually so funny. I was looking at Jay Crowder on DraftKings a little bit, and then I'm like, yeah, he's just a little bit too expensive. I know I like guys like Jay Crowder, like the streak shooters, the guys that have no shame when they come in the game. They self-correlate, they get hot, they'll leave him in, and things like that. And you know that he has flashed a ceiling on several occasions this year. So
he hasn't even flashed before yet.
Yeah, so I forgot to check him out on Fanduel. I realized he was like so cheap here, so I'm definitely gonna throw him into the pool for sure. So power forward, it was gonna be kind of like three guys, then a little gap in three others. But now that Drummond is ruled out, I think Nance is kind of, I hate to use this word, I think he's kind of a lock. I mean, with Thompson out and Drummond, well, doubtful. We're going to assume he's out for the time being. Drummond out. I mean, it's going to be difficult for him not to be a good play. Let's put it this way, at 4,900. Now, I have seen him, in chalky situations play 32 minutes and get 15 fantasy points. I mean, I've seen that happen over the last couple of years.
Score 35.
I certainly have. So it's not. I don't think anybody's like a Gordon Hayward at 3K lock. You know what I mean? Like on this slate, but he certainly looks to be the best play, and I think by a decent amount. So I will make him kind of like a priority to get him in. And then after that, though, I got like four guys. I got Lyles. Why didn't I put him in? I got Lyles. I have Kevin Love over here, Collins, and Covington are my favorites. Oh, I had Love down here. And Covington is my favorites. If you wanted to go down a little bit as far as value goes, pay up a little bit more power forward, I have no problem doing that with Sabonis and Randall also. But I think Lyles be chalky. Nance will be chalky, but I think they're both going to be good. Collins, did I say Lyles and Collins? Lyles and Nance, I'm sorry, are both going to be good but chalky. Collins might be sort of chalky too. Maybe Covington would be the, I don't think, off the boardish type play, middle less ownership there. But maybe tell me about Kevin Love. Is Kevin Love, unfortunately, on DraftKings, he's going to be probably really low owned. I wonder what he ends up on.
I wonder if
they didn't move him up at all. They kept him at 6,400.
Yeah, it's I'm just gonna keep playing Kevin Love at these prices. Like, it's not like he's been like he had the bad game where they got blown out. Okay, well, if they get blown out tonight, he's probably not going to be a great play, but he still might get you 40. Like, he still is probably okay. I like Love. I think Love, other than Love and Nance, are the two highest owned now. I actually think you can play them together tonight. The weirdest thing I'm struggling with is this crushing. What chances are? Why does no one have Kevin Love having the ability to do that? I just don't understand it. It's like there's some flaw in the algorithm or something, but I don't know what it is, because I haven't seen one this glaring yet of a player that I like.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. So again, what you have to, it's hard to explain, but so also the problem, I issued one issue. I had one issue with that percentage thing last week about, it doesn't say how much you smash by, or it doesn't calculate that. But forget that even. What happens is there are just games where Love gets 24 minutes, or 25 minutes. And those things, or whatever, I guess are just factored in, projected into the percentages or whatever. But I don't care about the games he gets 25 minutes, because he's not even almost going to get there. You know what I mean? I'm interested in the games where he gets his 33. You know what I mean? Like, and if you could predict that in some way.
But here's how can I help? Can I help here? This is what my prediction is, why it's different than everybody else's. So since they've had the new coach, okay, here's his minutes: 37, 33, 26 in a blowout. Don't forget that was a blowout. Right. And then 37. So we should comfortably assume that his minutes, and those were against tough teams: Philadelphia, Miami, and Indiana. So why, if they can play with those teams, why can't they play with Utah at home, first of all? And if he's going to play, if they're going to be close, shouldn't we assume that his average minutes would be 35 to 37 with this new coach, maybe even higher, if the game goes right? Like, there's upside on these minutes, and there's upside on his production by a ton, especially when you take out Thompson, Drummond, and Garland. From a shooting perspective, from a rebounding perspective, the more I think about it, the more I'm just being completely sold on Kevin Love, like across the board on all sites.
I'm really not gonna disagree with you.
If he busts and they get killed I'm okay with losing. And by the way, I'll have Larry Nance on the other side, the other ones I don't have him, and I'll have him in some of the same ones too. And one of them is going to get there. I promise you this. I just don't see it happening otherwise tonight. The other guy we didn't mention though is Aaron Gordon. His price is a little more desirable over here. He's going to be chalky. I don't know if I'm going to really go there much, but I should mention him at least. I'm going to be below the field on Collins at really, really high ownership probably. Probably be a little bit ahead of the field on guys, or right near the field on guys like Sabonis. But for me, it's mostly Love and Nance, and I really feel like everybody else is sort of just tied. I don't love the Trey. I like Trey Lyles, don't get me wrong, but he's going to be 1,000,000% owned. And I'm telling you, man, I've watched this guy bust in impossible to bust spots so many times. So, I mean, he just did it. He's done it like 17 times. Look, all those other games, not just the 47 were without Aldridge. He wasn't in the other ones either. And then, by the way, Podol didn't play in a couple of those either. So, like, I don't know. Just be careful with Trey Lyles. All I'm gonna say at really high ownership. I'll have some of them, but I'm not gonna be above the field.
You know what's really interesting? I didn't even notice this. That going back to small forward for a second. Look at the prices of these guys. Like there's Giannis at 11.5, and then there's like a $5,500 decrease to the next, and then like everybody's the same price. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like then it's I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic actually.
Yeah.
All right, so, and I do agree with you about you could play Nance and Love together. That's what we're gonna end up doing. We're gonna end up being on this all over this Cleveland-Utah game, right? That's the story.
Look, man, it's a great from a pricing perspective and people who are out and stuff. Like it's a really good spot for especially the Cleveland side of it. And then everybody on Utah has a plus matchup for their position basically. It's kind of hard not to have interest in it.
Yeah. Okay, so at let me just change my small forward for a second. Just want to see what this looks like. Look, any of these. Oh my God! Look at all that. Yikes! All right, so this one's got 4 Cleveland guys. This is the one with Clarkson, Porter, Love, and Nance. Run back with Donovan Mitchell. So at the center position on FanDuel, I don't know about this ownership situation over here, but I'm gonna have to as they say in the DFS community, I might have to fight you on this one. Like if you're gonna tell me you're gonna fade Valanciunas at 9%, I might have to. We might have to get in the ring on that one because I think that he's a tremendous play at 7,200 at 9% ownership. So he's going to be my favorite center over here with Vooch second. And you know, as far as with Vooch having that much more ownership, for me, it's just not even close. Gobert kind of similar to Vooch. And then for me, it's a big drop. I mean, Whiteside would be next, and then maybe Mitchell Robinson. Ooh. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's so hard to find pivots at center that I'm actually going to consider. I think I would play some Wendell Carter.
Ooh.
I think at minimum cost, even in 24 minutes, minimum cost of 24 minutes, he's in play. Like that could easily. I mean, that could be 30 fantasy points in that time. Didn't play well his first game back and played 18 minutes and put up 22 fantasy points. He's 3,600. You want to go for a differentiating build, that's an interesting way to go to me. So, and because I hate the position so much outside of the chalk, which is Vooch, Gobert, and I mean, honestly, I like Joe Val over here. I'll have more exposure over here than I do on draft just because I want the ownership edge. But I still think the matchup type I could see him getting played off the court a little bit. So it's Vooch number 1 for me, followed by the Gobert, Carter, Valanciunas combination, but I might bump up Wendell Carter a little bit here. I actually really like he should destroy that front line for the minutes that he's in even. The rebounds he'll probably get double-digit rebounds in this game, which just means he doesn't need much else. I mean, I really believe that. Like, unless Dallas is making every shot or something, like, that's just what he does. Dallas doesn't rebound. Like, I don't know, man. He had 9 rebounds in 18 minutes the other night. 24 minutes. I think we got a shot here. I think he's got a shot at 24 minutes. And if he gets to 24 minutes, like 3.6 is a whole different story, especially when you're differentiating your build drastically. Now, some people are going to get onto him, but not nearly as many as it should factor in. And the weirdest part about that play with Carter here is I could actually make an argument that in a certain environment, he's almost like a cash type of play. I don't think there's a huge amount of risk here for him. I really don't. Like, unless we hear his minutes are less than 20 minutes, then I don't think there's a lot of risk. If it's 22 or above, he should absolutely be in 6 to 8x territory, maybe with some upside even on that.
Yeah, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be really easy, by the way, to get. I mean, it's going to be almost forced to get in one of these, either Luka or Giannis, or we didn't even talk about Westbrook, by the way, over here.
Yeah, and you could play Westbrook at point guard at no ownership. I think it's fine, but it does feel a little bit weird.
Right. But what I'm saying is that with all these guys, between Nance and Lyles, if you feel like even Love, like kind of underpriced or whatever, like you could probably get in 2 studs on FanDuel without a lot of stress.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at Harden because I like point guard a little bit better than shooting guard. I think I'm looking at Harden and Giannis as my studs, and then
that's interesting.
And then if you go there, it's real easy because you run it back. You can play the Randall part if you want to. You can play Crowder as a small forward on somebody just to get other exposure to that game. You can also play Peyton at point guard. There's just a lot of ways you can go with that. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I'm getting a bunch of messages making sure that none of them have anything to do with this. Nope, they're all about tomorrow's games. Okay, we're good. What? Oh wait, no, Kristaps Porzingis is officially out.
He's officially out?
Well, he's listed as out, yes. Which I'm just saying is, I don't want to use the exact lingo, and the one time that it changes and everything, and somebody gets me, look, it's early in the day. He's listed as out. That means he's out as far as we are concerned.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not playing Hassan Whiteside. I don't care. I'm just not going to
do it. I wonder if he's going to actually make it into my player pool. So,
do you want to know else kind of a savage play? Like literally just completely weird off the board play? Would be Gorgui Dieng. Why
not?
5,100. Joe Val, we told you, what if he does get paced off? They're going to play one of these guys. Dieng sort of lends himself a little bit better to this game. I can see it.
What if Trey runs 2 straight pick and rolls and Whiteside gets 2 fouls?
The only problem, yeah. I mean, it's.
But I don't think he's going to be that highly owned, though. You know what I mean? Like, I like to fade Whiteside when he's really chalky.
Yeah, but it's not like, I mean, he's 9.5. Like,
right.
I don't even know that I would pick him to outscore. Well, I would have him and Vooch as like a toss-up if I had to ask who was like gun to my head who's going to score more fantasy points tonight.
That's fair.
I think
why Vooch is going to be 30% owned. I mean,
yeah, it's Whiteside. Yeah, but I mean, he's also 1,400 cheaper.
You know, the other thing that we but we mentioned Gobert a couple of times, and I think you liked him a little more than I did on DraftKings. I mean, keep in mind that with no Drummond and no Thompson, I mean, Gobert can. I mean, he has 20 rebounds basically in the bag if he wants them, and.
Yeah, but you would have thought that against Houston too, and meanwhile he can't get a rebound against that team.
It's just a little different, Playing Houston is just not normal,
I agree.
So maybe Gobert alongside, maybe that'll be my player. Gobert and Jan and Valanciunas, then Vooch only with the off the board guys. Maybe I'll sprinkle a few Carter Juniors in there or something like that.
Yeah. You could get 3 studs in.
Can you?
You can get Luka, Harden, and Giannis in. It's definitely doable. It's not ideal, but it's definitely doable.
Okay, but we're gonna
build the lineup that I just
do one for the fans. Hold on.
We're gonna do the one I just built. Well, watch. You know what? The last time you did this thing won. So let's.
It did something. Okay, so let's see. So who are our favorite studs? We said.
Well, on FanDuel.
Well, let's start with Giannis. Okay.
Giannis is number 1. I would put.
So we want Trey. You mean you want Trey?
I would put Luka number 1, but go ahead, Luka and Giannis.
So we want to put Luka, and then you want to put Harden in as the 3rd?
Yeah.
So, this is easy. So we're starting with Wendell Carter Jr., right?
Yep.
Okay. And, Felicio in play? I don't think so, right? Wendell Carter Jr. So then, if I'm not mistaken, just going by memory, let me just forget if they were good players or not. Let's go. Who was the Jay Crowder, right?
Yeah, Jay Crowder.
And he's actually like a real, he actually can play.
He can play, and he's 4,200, and he's put up 40 or more like 3 times with his new team.
let's just. Oh, we don't have to. This is easy. So I don't remember, but like they were good shooting guards, right? I mean, I don't remember who they are, but
Yeah, there's a. I mean, the thing would be if you're playing this, you can't play McCollum and what we're talking about, but
no. But I'm just putting in players. I mean,
yeah.
who's the other guy? Oh, there it is. It's Saturday. Oh, plenty of time. It's easy. So the point is that you can do it.
You can definitely do it. And I'm excited. I'm actually going to try and do it the best way possible.
Just in case.
Do I have any low-owned shooting guards that I like?
Just in case. That's it. Okay.
I like this, man.
Just in case.
Worked out nice and easy.
That's right. All right. So as I said, FanDuel. I think FanDuel is going to be a lot of fun tonight. So we will see how much fun and for whom as we get closer.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, like and subscribe, and catch me at the 4 Eastern show for QLTV.
Ooh, nice. All right. Well, good luck with that, and I will. Ooh, look at this. The spread already moved up in Dallas game from 5 to 6. Okay.
That is going to be 7.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Good luck. See you at the top of the leaderboard.